Welcome to episode 2 of Put Her In, Coach. I'm Cameron Boyd.
And I'm Madeline Colzer.
Last week, we kind of introduced the podcast and the organization we produce it through, which is AWSM. And this week, I wanted to talk a little bit more about AWSM and specifically the recent event we attended.
Yes, and as you can see, we have a guest with us for this segment, Kate Perrin. So Kate is our social media chair in AWSM, and she also, in doing so, she runs our AWSM Instagram at OEU AWSM. So make sure to check it out and give us a follow.
So on Monday, October 25th, the three of us had the opportunity to attend the Little Rock Touchdown Club, and we got to hear from ESPN sideline reporter Holly Rowe, which is a really great experience. And we'll kind of include some of the things she said in this podcast, but I just kind of wanted to talk about our favorite parts of her speech, I guess.
Yeah. I think my favorite part was absolutely when she kind of explained her story about going through cancer while being a full-time mom, while still working as a sport journalist, like on camera. And it was really inspiring hearing how she went through all of that, but still managed to be there for her kid and still managed to be at every single game that she was at. Mm-hmm. I think she only missed one, and that was even due to COVID, which she claimed was not her fault.
Yeah.
It truly shows her dedication to the sport and to what she does.
11 days before the college football season in 2018, I found out that my cancer had spread again, and it was a deadly diagnosis. And I didn't tell ESPN because I knew they would not let me work. So I didn't tell anybody. I had a lung biopsy with a needle this big. You have to be awake while they put it in your chest so that you can obey breathing commands. And 11 days later, I worked a college football game, but I was bald. And so I got that wig, and I was like, I've got to go to this Texas football practice on Friday, but it's 106 degrees, and I cannot wear Wanda. And, it was a closed practice, and I thought, well, nobody will see me. So I put my hat on, I was totally bald, and I went to practice. I've had to do my whole career as a mom. For 30 years, I have been working for ESPN, ABC. I have missed one game in 30 years on a college football Saturday one time because I got COVID, and I don't think that's my fault. That was the thing. But it's been hard on my family, and it's been hard on my son, and I'm grateful that you're here, Makylin, to share this with me.
Yeah, she said she missed one game in like 30 years, I think. So just very committed to what she does. Yes. And you have to be able to manage your time very well. Being a full-time mom and going through cancer, She was there while she had, tubes coming out of her, like fluid bags. So just very inspiring, I would say.
Agreed.
Yeah, I loved listening to her talk. She just has this, just this spirit to her.
Spunky. She's very spunky.
Yes, that's a great way to describe her. She just, when she starts talking, you were just sucked right in. I hung on to every single word that she was saying. And she just, like you said, she's very inspiring. And I just loved hearing her speak, really. I could listen to her all day long. Anything she told me, I would believe.
And another cool thing about her is, she went out of her way to find her own opportunities.
Yeah.
These opportunities to be a sideline reporter weren't presented to her. She made phone calls. She called producers and just kind of inserted herself. And there was one specific story she told. She called a producer, and I forget which teams were playing, but the game was going to be in San Jose. And she called the producer and was like, oh, my gosh, that's so crazy. I'm going to be in San Jose.
Right.
And so the producer was like, do you want to work the game? And she's like, yes. So when she hung up the phone, she said she had to figure out how to get to San Jose because she had no reason to be there. She just, wanted to work the game. And I just thought that was funny that she just found opportunities for herself. She just made a way for herself.
With Marshall Faulk at San Jose. That's so crazy. I'm going to be in San Jose. What a strange coincidence. And he's like, well, do you want to work the game? And I said, yes. And then I had to figure out a way to get to San Jose because, of course, I was not going to be in San Jose. So I did that for a couple of weeks, and what I didn't realize is those games were on a satellite system back to New York City. And so the producers in New York City saw my work, and the next college football season hired me full-time.
But it really was a truly inspiring speech that she gave. One clip that made me laugh so much was she was doing a stand-up during a game at one point, and she was about to go live, and a player just came hurling at her during a tackle. She gets knocked down, heels overhead, and she just pops right back up and goes live.
You pop up, and when they come to you, you're ready to talk about the players. They're ready to talk about they finally have to interrupt you. Holly. So to talk about that crazy moment.
Yeah, it was so funny because I just was prepared to still give my report. I didn't even know I was on camera or that they were showing any of that, because I'm just listening to Kirk and Chris. And so I had this great report on Akeem Messidor and Ruben Bain, who I think are the two best defensive ends in college football right now for Miami. They are crushing people. And I was all excited to do this report on them. And then I realized, they're talking about me right now. So you never want to be the story. But I was proud. I didn't drop the mic. I popped right back up.
Yeah.
It truly is admirable how, truly her dedication to the sport.
Yeah, she just didn't say anything about it. She just got up and gave her report. It was funny.
She almost used it as an opportunity to take the air and talk
Yes.
about what she was trying to talk about.
Experiencing the game, truly.
Yeah. Head on.
Head on.
Quite literally.
Head over heels for the sport.
Yes.
All right, so now that we have Kate on here with us, I'll call her our soccer expert.
Yes.
So
I don't know about that. I don't know.
we're going to look to her for some soccer updates.
Yes. So the women of the Ouachita soccer team, they have had good seasons for the past couple of years, been GAC tournament champions for at least the past 2 years. They're going into the tournament again, placed third this year, third seed, that is, in the tournament. They play Southwestern Oklahoma State on November 14th in Searcy. So very, very excited to see how that plays out. And me and Isaac talked about just a few minutes ago going up to see the finals. If they make it to the finals, hopefully they do. And hopefully we can take home another GAC tournament championship. But we'll see. So as far as history, the last game that they played, November 8th against Harding, they won at Harding. They had previously played at Ouachita and lost. So it seems like they're on a high right now, beating Harding, and hopefully they can carry that into their next game. Some player stats. We have Maddie Vanna leading in goals in conference. McKenna Wright in second place with 4 goals. Maddie Vanna has 6 goals. And then Olivia Erskine also having 4 goals. Reese Brown with 3, and Isabella Salvatore with 1, and then Eva Dunnigan again with 1. Just been a great season. I've loved getting to see these girls play this season. They really are some hard workers. The way they play is more defensively focused, but I mean the aggression and it's there, and they get out there, they leave it on the field, and they perform the best of their ability. And like I said, I'm excited to see how this rest of this season turns out. I'm wishing them the best as they go off to Searcy. And yeah.
Great. Sounds like they're having a great season, and so I'm excited for them going into the conference tournament. Hopefully they'll do well.
Yep.
And now let's move on and talk about some volleyball. All right, so we won't only talk about volleyball this time like we did last, but I did want to circle back and kind of provide some updates on what we talked about before. So we talked about how the volleyball team was doing well and they had the potential to go 11-0. And they did. So they beat Southern Naz, actually swept Southern Naz on October 23rd. And then they went on to win a 5-set match against Oklahoma Baptist the next day.
Yes. It was a really intense game as both teams are so evenly matched that it was hard for one to really take a lead over another. And we did see a shift in the offensive players who played in this game. Emily Adams and Leah Gardner led with 15 kills. And can we give a shout out to Savannah Whitaker, who stepped up when her team needed her?
Yeah, so if you weren't watching that game, the Oklahoma Baptist block was really giving Ouachita some trouble. And Kaylee Thedford has been one of the best hitters in the conference, and other teams are noticing that. So they're specifically targeting her, trying to
Yes.
work around her. So the block on her was especially difficult. And, I mean, it was giving her problems. She wasn't quite
Exactly.
able to find her way around that. So Savannah Whitaker ended up playing all the way around instead of just the back row and ended up playing in that outside position for Kaylee and did a great job.
Right, exactly.
And I think it just shows how versatile of a player she is and how reliable, just being able to step up to whatever position her team needs her in.
And then after that, they beat SAU 3-1 on October 30th. Now, Washita came out strong and won the first set, relinquished the second set to SAU, and then OBU took the next two sets and beat SAU by 15 in the fourth and final set. It was a very impressive game.
Yeah, that one was a little stressful for me too,
Yes.
just how back and forth it was, and then having that first set win, you know, you feel good, and then you go into the second set and they gave it to SAU, and I was just like,
Like,
you
well,
know.
how's this going to turn out?
Yeah, but they did end up winning that one, like we said. Riley Brazil led that game with 16 kills. Haley Fairchild and Leah Gardner each had 6 blocks apiece. The OB block was so strong this
It
night. I
was.
mean, we were just talking about Oklahoma Baptist, and I feel like that game to this one, they really stepped it up, and they were the ones giving people trouble.
It was. Now, in the last episode, we said that Courtney Hansen had received Setter of the Week for a second week in a row, an 11th time in her career. Well, that has now been updated since she has received Setter of the Week for the 4th week in a row, the 5th time this year and 13th in her career. Now, Riley Brazil also just received JRC Player of the Week for the first time this season as the league's best offensive player. We're very proud of her for that.
Yeah, and very deserved. She's always been one of the most reliable players on the team, and I
Yes.
think she deserves a lot more recognition than just that one. But I am proud that she got it. I'm proud of Courtney for getting it so many times. And something about Courtney, I actually interviewed her the other day for a project I'm doing for one of my classes, and I was like, how does it feel to, you know, get all these honors and stuff? And she's like, to be honest, I don't really care. Like, she appreciates the recognition, but she just wants to be whatever her team needs her to be.
Right.
And she says that if she needs to be setter of the week this many times and lead the conference and assist and aces, whatever, then that's what she wants to be. But she just wants to win for her team. And I think that's a very good mentality to have. She doesn't
Agreed.
let all these things go to her head. She just wants to be the best teammate that she can be.
That's truly how the entire team is too. The amount of interviews I've done with them for my own series, Front Row, they're all very, very humble about what they do. And even Coach Frizz and Coach Davis are humble about what they do. To like, it's the players doing. We're just telling them like how to do it and what to do. But the whole team overall is just they're drama free and they're humble, which makes them so
Yeah.
fun to watch and to be around in general. It's a great environment.
And I think that just makes you play better.
It
I think if
does.
you're all about you and all this stuff, you can't play a good team sport if you're just thinking about
Right.
yourself. You know, you have to
Right.
think about your teammates. And then they also went on to play Harding and Cersei on November 4th. This was their first conference loss of the season, and after a 12-match streak.
Now, both, so the match went to 5 sets with both teams fighting hard, but Harding fought harder, scores of 26-24, 25-21, and 15-13. Washita did take the first 2 sets very, very well, but Harding took the last 3. 4 Tigers actually reached double digits in kills against the Bison. Emily Adams, Kaylee Thedford each had 14. Riley Brazil had 13. Leah Gardner finished with 12. Now, the wild thing is the last thing that the Tigers won on Harding's court was in 1988 when Washita swept them. That's been quite a while.
Yeah, and you know, it's a very tough game, Harding being second in the conference.
Right.
So going into that, I mean, we all knew it was going to be a challenge. You know, and they obviously wanted that win against Washita being in first place. So I think that win meant a lot to them. But I do want to give our girls credit because they did play hard. I think it in the point in the game, it got to kind of, they got down and they got in their heads and stuff. And that's something that you really can't do in volleyball because it's a very mental
Right.
game. So I think just having a strong mentality is very important. And typically they
Agreed.
do.
Right.
I think, I don't know, maybe just a little bit of an off game. They still did very well, but that's just one thing that I noticed from that game.
Having an away game, especially like being on that 2-hour van drive, after being in class all day and then
Yeah.
playing on a court that you're not familiar with. It takes a mental toll. It really does.
And I will say it also doesn't help, having their students there
Right.
and they're talking to our girls and stuff like that. That can get in your head.
It does. It does.
And I mean, it's hard to ignore.
It is.
So I can't blame them.
But so on November 6th, they played against Arkansas Monticello, who's currently ranked last in the GAC. Washita swept them. But most recently, last night, Washita played Arkansas Tech. This was the Washita Tigers senior night. So it was the last home game for Courtney Hansen, Emily Adams, Emma Hill, Savannah Whitaker, Haley Fairchild, Erin Dawson, Riley Brazil, and Peyton Church. Swept Arkansas Tech. It was a beautiful game.
Great night to have for senior night.
It was.
As you can tell, she just named a lot of seniors. So that's 8 girls we're going to be losing that we're going to have to replace next year.
Yes.
And, that can be kind of nerve-wracking. Just we already have this very experienced and good leadership on the team.
Agreed.
So it's going to be hard to lose that. But I do think that there are several players that are going to be able to step up. Kylie Kiskin being one of them. She'll be a
Absolutely,
senior
Kylie,
next year.
yes.
She's a great leader. I think she's a great teammate, very kind to everybody, and I think she's going to be one that's really going to lift her teammates
I
up.
think so too.
And even some of the freshmen we have currently, Sophie Henry, Delaney Gonzalez, I think they will both be great additions to the team. So I'm excited to see their future. I'm sad to watch these players go, but I think they have a bright future.
Now, Washita still remains at the top of the conference, maintaining a 14-1 record right now. They're heading to the GAC championship next week in Shawnee, Oklahoma. That's bound to be a fun game. We have a wide variety of teams. Henderson just made it to the GAC championship again last night. So it's a long list. I think there's still teams being added right now, but it's going to be a fun game. So we'll have a lot to talk about in the next episode about that. But now comes the big game of this week. Battle of the Ravine for volleyball coming up on Henderson's campus.
So their last matchup was in October, and Washita won 3-1. But Washita has not won an away boater game since 2022 when they swept the Reddies. So having this game being an away game this year might be a little bit of a difficulty. Henderson's also 7-8 in conference, and Washita's 14-1, which I do want to point out, though, that in cases like this, when it's such a big rivalry, I don't think records necessarily matter.
Right.
Because they just want to beat us.
Right.
And we just want to beat them. That's just how Washita and Henderson go. So I think it is going to be a little bit challenging. And kind of what we were talking about with the student section and all that, it's probably going to be worse at Henderson.
It is. Especially considering the fact that it's also Battle of the Ravine for football this week.
So just all kinds of clashing between the two schools this week. But speaking of Battle of the Ravine for football, let's kind of shift and talk about some football. So they've also had a successful season, and they're currently 7-3 in conference, and they're on a win streak of 6. So they beat Northwestern Oklahoma State 55-14 on November 1st, and in that game, Carter McElhaney scored just 19 seconds into the game and had 2 total touchdowns. Very good game for him. And Lyric Treadwell had an 82-yard run for a touchdown in the second quarter. Cortavion McMillan and Justin Crutchmer each had 6 tackles. And OBU went into the second half, or into halftime, with a 42-7 lead. Obviously, big lead for them, just blowing the other team out. And they ended up with 523 total yards of offense.
Very impressive. And then after that, on November 8th, they played Southwestern Oklahoma State. Now, Washita also took this one 42-38. Went into the half with Washita down 28-21, but we were able to turn around in the third and fourth quarter. Chris Henley Jr. had 3 touchdowns. He currently leads the team in touchdowns with 12. Cardinal McElhaney is right behind him with 10. Trey Nichols, Carter McElhaney, and Larry Treadwell each had 1 touchdown. And Nichols also had 140 rushing yards, which is impressive. Jackson Carter had 9 tackles, and Jabari Farms and Justin Crutchmer both had 8. They're currently in a 4-way tie for second in conference between Arkansas Tech, Henderson State, and Southern Arkansas. But speaking of Henderson State, coming up, Battle of the Ravine.
Yes, like we said, Battle of the Ravine is a big thing here in Arkadelphia. Just a huge tradition, and most would consider it the greatest small college football rivalry in the country. And I mean, I feel like that's been very evident.
It has.
Recently.
It really has.
I mean, there was talk about College Game Day coming. Now we know that they're not.
coming, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. But I think just the fact that they thought about coming speaks to how big this rivalry is. And this is going to be the 98th annual Henderson versus
is.
Ouachita football game, and we get to have it on our campus this year.
Which is a huge, huge thing for all of us. And what's so great about it is it truly brings students of all classes together and brings in other members of the community. It brings in Henderson alumni, Ouachita alumni. I think aside from homecoming, it's one of the biggest weekends for football in Arkadelphia just because both schools are coming together. And the culture on campus, we have Guard the Tiger this week, which is where the Ouachita students guard the tiger statue from Henderson. I know the junior night tonight's going to be a lot of fun. There's like late night snacks, pillow fights, blow up mattresses. I don't know what to expect, but all the culture during Battle Ravine Week is very, very fun. Now, last year, Ouachita was able to defeat Henderson on their home field 27-20. Now, it's a close game, and we likely will see a similar game this year as Henderson and Ouachita are actually tied in the GC rankings. Both have the current 7-3 conference record. So all the energy will be high as this is a very important win for both teams. But tune in on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network as we'll be broadcasting the game. We'll also have our own pregame show starting at 11, which is going to be very, very fun. Hopefully we'll be as good as College Game Day, if not better.
It'll be better. You
It'll
know
be
what?
better. So
It'll be better. And kickoff is at 1. So this is going to be a very exciting game, like we said. And obviously both teams are evenly matched. But just putting that aside, it's a big rivalry. Both teams just want to win.
it's a big week for
Yeah.
many
And,
teams.
like we said, it brings the community together, but also at the same time, brings them apart because
Yes.
everybody, you're either a Tiger or you're a Reddy, which, what is a Reddy? I
What
don't
is
know.
it ready? We don't know.
But it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm excited for that. We both get to be a part of the pregame show.
Yes.
So we'll each have our own little segment, I guess you could say. So tune in for that.
Tune in.
On the OSDN YouTube channel.
OSDN.live.
Yes. So make sure you tune in for that and just the game itself. But anyway, it's been a busy week for athletics at Ouachita. And there's much more to follow Battle of the Ravine, and we'll be back with some more updates. But thank you again for tuning in. Again, I'm Cameron Boyd.
And I'm Madeline Colzer.
And this has been Put Her In, Coach.